So, Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti. In the morning we were discussing, rather looking into the Upanishad. And now that is the theory of what the Upanishads talk about. Now, how do you get there? Because the mind seems to be very difficult to grasp the concepts as such, because they seem quite not concrete. What do you call that? A little more kind of abstract, but not exactly. In fact, some people say this world is abstract and this is real, so we don't know. Anyway, so now I will discuss a part of the Upanishad which we discussed also in the retreat, and then come back to the practical aspect, meditation or whatever we have to do. Because of the limitation of time, this is a one-day workshop, it's all edited tightly. Okay, so without losing much time. Now there is one Upanishad which has only 12 verses, and it discusses the different states which all human beings pass through, except one which we may go through but we don't know about generally. And this is the different states of consciousness which we all go through. One is, of course, the waking state. This hopefully is a waking state now. We are awake, and we don't have to explain it because we all know what it is like, right? To some extent, we know what waking is all about. Although there is much more to be awakened to, but generally it's like in the waking state. What happens normally is we are generally obsessed with one thing, and therefore we don't see anything else. That is not properly complete wakefulness. Yeah, like wakefulness is to be able to see with all your five senses together. This can happen only if there is some breakthrough. Otherwise you see only one. Some people like sound, some people like shape, some people different things. Some people even like weight. So, but to put everything together and view as one is not so easy. It has to happen only when the mind breaks through the limitations. Then all senses are working at the same time. I cannot tell you how, but it's so. So this is the waking state. Now we also go through, commonly, all of us, the dream state. Now this dream state is quite peculiar because in the dream state you don't think you're dreaming. It's very real. Only when you wake up you feel that it is a dream, generally. Otherwise you are not dreaming, you are actually living whatever is happening in the dream, right? Like I said the other day, if there's a bear chasing you, in India I usually say leopards and tigers, and a bear chasing you, you don't think it's a dream, there is a bear chasing you, right? And you're in fear and you're running for your life. It's so real that when you wake up, you're still wondering if the bear is behind you. your blood pressure is high, your heart is beating faster, and you probably are sweating even if it's cold in Switzerland. So, it's so real. But at that moment it's real, yes. When you wake up, you say it's a dream. Now somebody asked us, what if just like in the dream we don't believe it's a dream, and believe it's a dream only when we wake up? What if we are right now in a long dream? Of course you won't believe it. In the dream you don't believe it's a dream, right? What if we are in a long dream? And maybe there is a state where you say, I wake up and say, oh my God, what a long dream. Pleasant or unpleasant? How do you know? You say, no, this is it can't be a dream. You say that in a dream, this is a dream. No. So, it's very relative. This reality of what we experience and the reality what is, we really don't know the difference. We know only the reality that we experience. And this is seen in it. The only difference between dream and waking state is that in the waking state there is a continuation, while in the dream state there is no continuation. Today you might dream that you are me, okay? But when you wake up you are still you. Sorry, I'm joking. But that's not the thing with waking state. Waking state, I feel I'm this, but I'm dreaming I'm not, but when I come back, I'm the same person. It's continuing. That difference is there, of course. Then there is the other state, which is called deep sleep. Now, in deep sleep, this is also an interesting state. Deep sleep, you are not aware of the outside world, which is why you enjoy sleeping. You're not even aware of yourself. If you picked up a quarrel with your husband or wife, in the deep sleep there is no quarrel, so you are enjoying sleep. Also, in deep sleep, you are not aware of yourself inside. There is no outside awareness, there is no inside awareness, which is why it gives you so much rest and blissful sleep. I'm talking about deep sleep where there is no dream. Deep, dreamless sleep. But in this deep, dreamless sleep, we are in bliss, we are enjoying. In dream you can't say, because in dream you may be enjoying or you may be suffering, depending on whether you saw your mother-in-law or not in the dream. But, I'm sorry, I'm joking. Mine is a very good person. Anyway. Video is going to go. So, but that's not the case in deep sleep. It's always pleasant, which is why when you have pain, you wish I could sleep. You could sleep. Which is why when you have pain, you are given medicines to sleep. Because in sleep, body also does a lot of healing, which every doctor knows. That the body needs sleep to heal itself. So why? Where is this healing coming from? Why is it that we love to sleep? What is the joy that we are having in sleep, and we are apparently not enjoying anything? Don't have an ice cream there, but you're okay. Not even aware. What is the deep?
You can disconnect.
Even if you miss your flight and are late, still in sleep, you won't realize anything. Perfectly happy. Now you are not, but it will. So, this is deep sleep. Now, in this deep sleep, it's so blissful that we don't want to wake up, usually. Even if you have the most urgent work and have fixed your alarm on your phone, when it rings, especially if you have a cozy bedroom, You'd like to, I'll wake up after a while, put it off, go to sleep, then it rings again. Then again. Because you are enjoying it, you're in bliss and you don't want to come out of it. And when you're just waking up, or when you're going to sleep, just going to sleep, you can for a short moment feel that happiness, a little bit. And you want to turn around and sleep, take the pillow, put it between your legs. You know what people do, many things. Anyway, so this enjoyment which you get in deep, I'm not saying we should all sleep to enjoy, okay? Correction. This joy that you feel seems to have an enjoyer somewhere. Right? Because when we wake up, we always say, oh, that was a blissful sleep. It was beautiful, I enjoyed. But at that moment, you're not aware. During that moment, you're not aware. But when you wake up, you know, I had a blissful sleep. If I know when I wake up that it was a blissful sleep, then I must have, some witness must have been there, right? Which is now forgotten about it. So can you imagine a state where in that blissful deep sleep, the enjoyer becomes aware, suppose. Not possible generally, but suppose it happens. That is called Turiya. A state where the witness remains enjoying even deep sleep and is aware while waking and dreaming that the witness is there and the changes can happen in the state, but the witness remains same. This is called Turiya. But unfortunately, you cannot go to Turiya through Shushupti. Then it would have been very easy. We just need to sleep. And then in fact, I was having a talk, sorry, I'm not blaming the entire Calcutta crowd, but when we were having a book launch, Swamiji was called from somewhere to launch the book, and it was kind of noon. He just had lunch, so I think he was feeling sleepy. So he said, you heard what Sriyam said. Actually, it was the launch of meditation, that book. So you saw that book? Sriyam says that aim of life is deep sleep. I said, Swamiji, please. I said no such thing. I also said that you cannot reach Turiya through deep sleep. This also I said. But I don't know why. I think it was time for him to sleep. And quickly. And he also said, no more questions. It is time to go. So anyway, unfortunately from deep sleep you cannot go into Turiya, but you can understand Turiya when you experience sleep. Because you know what sleep is, you can kind of have an idea about what Turiya is. Now, is there a chance that while, like what Swamiji said, that Swamiji, in deep sleep you can enjoy the Turiya? Is there a chance? Or we have to go through some other way? In fact, there is a remote chance. How? If the mind, she's shaking her head vigorously, she's fond of sleeping. There is a way. So, if the mind can be freed of all distractions, if the mind can be freed of all disappointments and also too much excitement, if the mind can be freed of all these desires to be fulfilled and so on and so forth, that mind perhaps being pure and free and not having any distractions and any tension whatsoever, such a mind possibly can experience Turiya while in deep sleep also. Now, such a mind also can experience Turiya in waking state. Not only that, a mind that has understood this and touched this Turiya can feel it in waking, in dream and in deep sleep. All. So when such a person sleeps, if he has that understanding, it's not a normal sleep like the rest of the people. Because even in sleep he is in Turiya. Not to be imitated. Yeah. So how is it possible to free the mind from all distractions so that the mind is in Turiya not only while meditating but also while engaged in other activities? If this happens, it's called Sahaja Samadhi. You don't have to go in or come out of anything. But to find that, first you need to go in. When you go in, you discover that what is in is also what is out. And then you don't have to go in or go out anymore. The great sage Yajnavalkya was once visited by a rishi whose name was Ashtavakra. It means bent in 8 places. He was a cripple. He came, but he was a rishi. So, a rishi need not be not bent, he can be. So when Ashtavakra came, he asked Yajnavalkya, have you got the freedom that you looked for? Not Yajnavalkya, the king Janaka, whose guru was Yajnavalkya. So the Ashtavakra visited the king Janaka. Now this king Janaka was a special case. He was a king, he was also a rishi. Normally rishis are associated with people who live in the forest. Janaka was living in the palace. He was the ruler of a kingdom, but he was accepted by all people as a great rishi. This is also possible, but it's a little difficult. Not so easy. Anyway, so Yajnavalkya, the great rishi who you come across in many Upanishads, especially the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, he was his guru. And he taught him how to enter into a deep state of meditation in samadhi. So one day, this Ashtavakra, the crippled rishi, not mind crippled, body crippled, came there and he asked him. So he welcomed him as usual with the washing of feet and all that. I'm glad it doesn't work here. It's a cold country. You start washing. Welcomed him. Then he started asking him, so are you free now? Have you attained that freedom of Turiya? Because you are Yajnavalkya's disciple. So can you? He said, yes. Any time I can go into samadhi and experience that oneness to all pervasive. Ashtavakra said, okay, any time you can go in, fine. But then what happens after that? After that I come out. Oh, so he said there is a going in and a coming out, so that cannot be freedom. If it's freedom, moksha, it should be always there. There is no going, no coming out, no nothing. If it is absolute freedom, why is this dependence on going in or coming out? So, Yajnavalkya said yes. Then he taught him what is known as the Ashtavakra Gita. Ashtavakra Gita is not to be read by everybody. First you go to a certain stage and then you read it. Otherwise, not bad, it will become an atheist. Also the Yoga Vasishtha. These are 2 texts one has to read very carefully. Anyway, so is there a way to experience Turiya while you are still awake? Is there a way to, once you experience it, that it will continue in dream as well as deep sleep? Is there a way by which in the middle of all action there is a center of the mind which remains absolutely inactive, doing nothing? The yogis say, and the Upanishads say that there is. This is the science of yoga. You know, the Bhagavad Gita is known to many people. In the last chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, every end of the chapter, any chapter, there is a statement. Very interesting. It says, iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita, this is the Bhagavad Gita, and Upanishads. It says, this is the Bhagavad Gita, iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Upanishads, it is the Upanishad. Brahma Vidyayam, it's the knowledge. What does the Upanishad teach? Brahma Vidya, the knowledge of the Supreme Brahman. Then there is one word, which is why I wanted to mention this, Yoga Shastra. So, for the mind which is not trained, which is not free of distractions, there is no training to put the mind free of distractions. You cannot touch that Brahma Vidya. And most minds are there. Therefore, the practice of yoga to make your mind free of distractions, free of tension, free of opposites, so that it deconditions itself, and in that mind which is deconditioned, one can understand what Turiya is, or what the Brahman is. So therefore all sadhanas and practices are meant to bring this about, and there are many approaches to this. Sadhana, yoga doesn't mean asanas only. It means many more things. Yoga Sutras of Patanjali describe yoga in detail. Yoga is the way by which you can make your mind absolutely quiet and tranquil, with no opposing emotions, no distractions, no nothing. In that state of quietness of mind, then perhaps one discovers that which is called Turiya. So this is the importance of all practices. Now, there are, I know, some people who haven't practiced any of the yoga that we know of, but have attained. Some people even have no gurus, but still they have attained. How? I have only one explanation. Either there are people who have evolved over many births. Now that means you have to believe in many births to understand this. They have evolved in many births, and in this life which they are here, all that they needed has already been fulfilled, and they have just come to finish that life. So maybe from childhood they feel it. There are others so in this category fall great rishis sometimes, wise people, or great devotees, for instance, who from childhood have only one intention, which is to meet their God or to experience divinity. You can put it that way also. Sometimes you find that they don't have a teacher, they have had no training, but their heart is moving towards that. I understand it as they already finished all their training, and they have come here only to fulfill a little bit of it, so they are on their way. So through devotion, through intellectual understanding, like Ramana Maharshi did not have a guru, but he reached that simply by figuring out one day that he is not the body. Now everybody can't figure that out. We cannot imitate Ramana Maharshi, right? Of course I have no question about that. But so there are different ways, therefore the commonest way of doing this is to get some kind of a control over your breathing patterns. If you are not born with having learned yoga for many lives, then it is better that you do something which is practical, by which you can feel your step by step moving into this. And this is the practice of Dhyana Yoga. Now Dhyana Yoga may be practiced with or without asanas. It's not necessary for all yogis to be doing asanas. You can also practice Dhyana Yoga with no asanas whatsoever, except the sitting asana. This is also an asana. What you are sitting is also an asana. What you are sitting is also asana. This is in yogic terms called a chair asana. This is Padmasana, this is Sukhasana. By asana means sitting down actually in a posture. But traditionally yogic asanas are with folded legs. There are two reasons for that. You know why I cracked a joke? Because I thought you were going into Shushupti. Yes or no? Kind of. So, now there is one very dangerous asana, which also is good, but if you practice that, especially if you're tired and if you have had a good meal, instead of Turiya you might go into Shushupti, which is lying down asana. This is called the Shavasana. Shava means a corpse. So what happens in meditation, I've seen this happen, it has happened to me also. You sit down in Padmasana, then the legs are also tight and so on. Then you forget about it. Then you go into deep meditation. And it's nice going on. Then you say, it's nice, it could be nicer if I untie these knots. So I lie down. And then I say, Shavasana is also an asana. Yes. I lie down. Before long, there is no pranayam. There is no samadhi. Yes, there is one pranayam, which sounds like this. So that is not a good posture for at least to begin meditation. Sit, okay? Sitting is a good asana. And actually it's very funny, in my language, Malayalam, from the state where I come from, asana means bumps. So somebody asked me a question in one of the retreats where they were full of Malayalis, and this North Indian lady, and I have a question, so serious question, very serious question. Should we daily, see, you know, this, what you sit on, this is also called an asana, right? She asked, not everybody was silent because she said it's a serious question. And she asked, should we wash our asanas daily? I said, it depends on you. So anyway, sorry. What was I saying? Yeah, so when you start meditation, always find a comfortable sitting posture. Cross-legged is the best. Because when you cross your legs, the area here, which is the Ida and the Pingala, the two nadis that run on both sides, they get kind of semi-locked, especially when you do the Padmasana. Because your right heel is here and your left heel is here, the pressure is applied on the Ida and Pingala, and therefore they are closed. Now, when the prana moves, it has no way to move except through the center, which is the Sushumna, which is why it's a good asana. Also, folded legs means you are stable. They're down. So, posture. The next is, what we are trying to see, what we are seeking is that silence of mind without any involvement, external or internal, where everything is quiet and the mind is no more distracted. Without a mind which is distracted, even doesn't have enough energy to pursue this, because you need full energy, full attention to pursue this particular thing that we are looking at. A dissipated mind surely cannot move forward. So, therefore, when you sit in an asana and then you try to still your mind, saying, now I don't want any, doesn't work. The more you try to say, some say, oh, I sat down, now I am comfortable. Why? Now I have no thoughts. So who is saying this? Seriously. I am saying I have no, so who is the thinker who is saying I have no me? So there is no, it can't be without thoughts, right? Even the fact that I am is a thought. right? So you can't stay in that blank state because the mind by its very nature cannot be blank. It likes to be occupied. It's its nature to be occupied. So what we do is first internalize. The mind is generally occupied with the outside world. You want to go in and seek that quietness, but you cannot seek that quietness because the mind will always try to get itself occupied with something. So the idea is to occupy it with something internal first. And what is the most intimate, something which everybody has? If you don't have that, you will be dead. The breath. It's common, right? There is no Swedish breath or Indian breath. It's all breath, right? So, when you want to occupy your mind with something internal, the best way is to turn the mind and give attention to the breath. Even the entire science of Kriya is also built on this, basically. Give attention to the breath, because then the mind has something to occupy itself, and it has something to occupy itself which doesn't then take you on to making other images, because you have fixed your attention on the breath. So, the first step would be, first bow down and ask for help. There is no harm in bowing down. It increases the circulation of blood in the brain also. So bow down and ask for help. And then sit down in a comfortable posture. Close your eyes. You can also keep it open. Close your eyes. And give complete attention to your breath. Something which we never do. You know, breath is such an important part of our life. You can live without food for some time, you can live without water for some time. Without breathing, half a minute, 1 minute maximum, you cannot live. So therefore, give enough attention to the breath. It's your most important nourishment, is the link between life and death. What happens when you die? The breath is stopped. So therefore, considering how valuable the breath is, which has started when you are already in the womb, and which when it leaves your body you are dead, give complete attention, respect the breath, and then put your entire attention on the breath and breathe in. Hold your breath for a short while. Breathe out. If you like, hold it there for some time, otherwise leave it. Take another breath, inhale. Now what is happening? Your mind is now occupied with the inner. When it is fully occupied with the inner, the outer is cut off, at least temporarily. When you continue doing that, you begin to get more and more understanding of what is happening inside. As your mind is on the breath, it slows down. As it slows down, your distractions become less. As your distractions become less, the rhythm of the breath slows down. As it slows down, some more distractions become. It's a two-way thing. Soon you are in a state where everything is quiet. You only know, I'm breathing in and I'm breathing out. That's it. Stay there as long as you want. You can do nothing about it. After some time, that will also stop, and you will get where you have to go. This is the importance of sadhana. And I think this is one of the most simple things to do, is breath work. There was one little bit controversial gentleman called Gurdjieff. I used to wonder what is his teaching. So I met some of his people in Washington DC. We had some years ago we had a retreat, and it was in a Gurdjieff place. I didn't realize that. So I met some of these people, and they said, we want to attend a workshop a little bit. So they came, And they said, but we also do a kind of breathing. What is it? He said, we call it the breathwork. We work with the breath. So breathwork is a very important part of sadhana, and it can be done by anybody, because breath does not belong to any religion or any opposing cults. It is breath, which is common to all of us. So the nearer you get to the awareness of your breath, the nearer you get to the awareness of your inner being, the nearer you get to the awareness of your inner being, the more you are entering into Turiya. When you touch Turiya, then you don't have to meditate. You don't have to go in, you don't have to go out. Now also one part of my mind is free there, sitting. It's not distracted. It's in, I don't know whether you call it meditation. It's aware inside of a quietness which is not disturbed by anything here. We went there and had food. Yes, I was enjoying the food, but there was something else enjoying me enjoying the food. I don't know how to put this. Yeah. So, therefore, why I'm saying this is I think most human beings can go there, touch it. As long as you keep out the prejudice of maybe I won't be able to do it, or I'm too distracted to do it, you have to start some point. And you can't expect to go there and start practicing only after you have solved all your intellectual problems. That will take many lifetimes. We will be stuck there. So, when thoughts and questions come when you sit down to meditate, request your mind, so keep it away for a while. I'm meditating. I'll get you back when I come back. Because in that quiet state of meditation, when the breath becomes almost still, and everything is quiet, and you begin to enjoy the inner, in that state, you would have answered many of the questions which occur to you. The answers would come by themselves. You don't have to. And if I answer that question, any question, it's my answer, not yours. Right? So therefore, even though it's not time to meditate, I want you to meditate now, after listening to this. Turiya, not Shushupti. And then, after that, we will have the questions. Instead of, I'm reversing the procedure a bit. Okay? So, how are we going to meditate now? Tell me, somebody tell me how we are going to meditate. She's already started. Tell me how we are going to meditate. What are we going to do?
Have the intention to
Right.
be quiet,
Quiet.
And let go.
And watch the breath.
And the breath.
So, have the intention of being quiet and watch the breath. Breathe in and breathe out. Put complete attention to your breath. Don't even think why you're doing it and where we are going. Just this for some time. And then see what happens after that. And relax and settle down in that state. Your mind can be, your attention can be fixed at any point, here, here or here. It can also be set free and not fixed on anything. This is also possible. Okay? So, shall we start? I'm not going to guide. This is not guided meditation. You are on your own. Start.